Didn't that look delicious? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Smokey Dave Presents. First thing I want to say is a shout out to my son, Zachary, who inspired this video. So, of course, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cold smoking a delicious 3-pound tomahawk steak. In addition to that, we're going to be cold smoking some blue cheese so that we can make our blue cheese garlic butter reduction. Smoked blue cheese, that is. We're going to be doing a few other things too. We're in the holiday season here, so I don't want to waste smoke. So we'll talk about that as well a little bit. But let's get started. So as you see here, we've got this delicious 3-pound tomahawk steak trimmed and ready to go. And next to that is a reformed piece of Amish blue cheese. That'll be getting wrapped with some cheesecloth, and both of these will be going into the cold smoker. And here's a few of the other items we're going to be smoking today. Our old standby Cabot Seriously Sharp White Cheddar. We're going to also be smoking this Yardo beef, which is a dry-aged cured beef summer sausage. And my new favorite cheese of all, Manchego. This is a cheese that is imported from Spain and is made from sheep's milk. It is absolutely rich, delicious, and when it's smoked, it just pops. I highly recommend it. Okay, we're going to be making a standard clear brine today. We got about 2 quarts of water in the pot there, a cup of vinegar, 1/4 cup of Prague powder curing salt, and 2 cups of regular salt. That's all we're going to do in the pot. We'll heat it up until everything's dissolved and then pour that in a bucket with 7 pounds of ice. And that'll produce the brine perfectly for both our cheese and our dry cured summer sausage, which is okay to put together because it is cured and cooked. We only keep them in separate brines when, for example, you're doing cheese and a raw meat, which we're not going to be doing. We'll not be putting the steak in the brine today because we're going to cook it immediately after we're done smoking it. All right, so I'm dumping the ice into the brine bucket, and then I'll pour in the hot dissolved brine and place in all of our cheese and our summer sausage items. And then we'll go out to the smoker and get that started up. You see here, the last item I'm going to place into the brine will be the cheesecloth wrapped blue cheese. We don't want that jostled around too much, so we'll leave that on the top of the brine. And it doesn't really need to be, deeply submerged anyway. So back out at the smoker, I'm going to put in some pecan that Alex gave us, which you may have seen from our previous video, and some of the apple wood that I chopped up in the wood types video. Links shown in the description. And we're only going to be using 2 racks in the cold smoker today, and we'll put that beautiful tomahawk steak on the bottom rack, and then we'll put all the other cheese on top. We'll also put the summer sausage on the bottom rack. Might as well keep the meat and the cheese together on their own racks. And as you can see, we have some beautiful smoke being generated right there. Hey, let me cut in right here and take this opportunity to talk about something I'm kind of proud of. This is my new shirt from Teespring. Now, my channel's not yet big enough to have a store down below, but you can find the link in the description. So this shirt says, "You can fascinate a woman with a piece of cheese." Hey, I don't know if that'll actually work, but why don't you give it a shot and tell me how it went for you. You can even put it in the comments. I'd love to read it. Who knows? It might fascinate a woman. Anyway, back to the video. Alright, so the steak is done cold smoking. It smells absolutely wonderful. What we're going to do now we're going to season it and let it rest with seasoning on it so that the salt will pull some of the water out. We got some sea salt here we're going to grind on there. A little bit of granulated garlic powder. This is our fine seasoning. We'll put that on there. For our coarse seasoning, we're just going to use this pre-minced garlic. We're just going to rub that in by hand. That'll be our coarse seasoning on there. And then we'll let this sit for about 10-15 minutes to let it pull some of that moisture out. Let it get nice and ready. That way we can get the grill up to heat. Yep. So let that sit there like that. For our roasting garlic, we're just going to cut the very top of the garlic head off, keeping the rest of it intact. We just want to clip the tips of each of those cloves if we can. Then we'll wrap it up in a little aluminum foil. And you can use one or two pieces if you need to. Sometimes they tear. And the reason we're doing this is we're going to pour a little high quality virgin olive oil on here, about a tablespoon or so. And that'll help cook the garlic and make it just a nice paste that we can use in our butter reduction. All right, so we're gonna cook our tomahawk on this Weber grill, and let's see what the temperature is. We need that grill surface to be about 600 degrees. We got a ways to go. We're also cooking this our garlic here. That'll be the roasted garlic that'll go in our topper. Our topper, which is our smoked garlic blue cheese butter, which is going to be delicious on that steak. The grill has reached 600 degrees, so we're putting that tomahawk on there to make some really nice grill marks. We'll let it sear for a few minutes. Then we'll pick it up and turn it to about a 45-degree angle to let the sear marks crisscross, and then we'll flip it over and do the same on the other side. And then we'll sear the edges of the steak as well to make sure it's fully seared on all sides. Had a little trouble holding it up on the edge. Had to use the garlic that we were roasting to keep it set up. But whatever works. We want to get a nice sear on all sides of that meat. Now it's time to make our butter mixture. This is the pan that the steak drippings will drip into as well. We're putting a whole stick of Kerrygold Irish butter in there. We're putting in a sprig of thyme, another sprig of rosemary, putting in 2 tablespoons of Wagyu beef tallow, and finally we're going to crush some garlic. Please disregard my complete lack of camera work, as if I had done that right, it would have been up in the center of the picture instead of way up on the top. But I think you get the idea. So we're going to put a little rack here over top of the pan, and then we're going to set the steak, the main part of the meat, of course, over the pan to let it drip in there and mix in with all of those other delicious juices, which we will then use to baste the steak with. It's time to baste. So I got my bent spoon here so that I can scoop in there and just pour that delicious butter, garlic, thyme, rosemary, and Wagyu right on top of that steak. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And we'll do that to both sides. And then we'll be taking this steak off, letting it rest for just a short time while we get the cast iron frying pan, which we will then baste the steak right in. Right now I'm taking the temperature, and we've reached the internal temperature of 126 degrees. So it's time to take the steak off. And we'll pour those basting sauces into that frying pan, and we'll add the roasted garlic that we've been roasting all this time. Added a little extra butter, as you can see, and I'm now squeezing each of the cloves from the roasted garlic in there. And once that's all done, we'll mix that up and get that delicious tomahawk steak back on that frying pan so we can baste it some more. This butter that's in the pan will also form the butter base of our garlic smoked reduction. Time to get the steak. All right, we pulled the steak off and put it onto our plate and are letting it rest. And while the steak rests, we will get out our blue cheese that we smoked in the smoker earlier, and we'll make up our blue cheese, our smoked blue cheese, garlic, butter reduction. We'll cut off a little bit of the blue cheese here into the bowl. Off camera, we took the frying pan with the basting juices and we poured that into what's known as a fryer's friend. And we're going to mix that into the blue cheese, and this will help melt it together. Take a whisk and whisk that together. Now this will be very soft, so we'll throw it in the freezer for a few minutes while the steak continues to rest to firm it up a little bit and get it into a butter-like consistency. Now it's time to slice into that delicious looking meat. So first I'll pick it up by the long bone and cut the main body of the meat off from the bone. And I can see that the color of that meat inside from that bone is looking perfect. This steak is perfectly cooked. Cuts just like butter. I'll go retrieve the bowl of our blue cheese butter reduction and put a little of that on the side. Oh, look at that meat. That, ladies and gentlemen, is money. And it was delicious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Smokey Dave Presents and our smoking of a tomahawk steak and our smoked blue cheese garlic butter reduction. I wish I could hand you a piece through the video camera to you. It was extremely delicious. Not something you want to do every day, of course, but once in a while, it's a delicious treat and worth every bit of effort. Anyway, if you like what you see here, consider subscribing and hitting the notification button so you'll know when we drop new videos. And if you leave a comment down below, I'll be sure to answer it. So until next time, it's no joke, everything's better with smoke.